It's a pleasure to have you once again on the link this evening. Welcome again to the show. We promise to continue giving you information you can use and opportunities. Tonight we're speaking about SMEs, and it's not a new subject actually, but we're going to focus on the element of compliance. You've heard about compliance, but we're just going to try to break it down, and I have the right person in the studio tonight to explain this issue, Mr. John Walugembe, who is the Executive Director for the Federation of Small and Medium Enterprises in Uganda. John, welcome again to the show.
Thank you, Sam. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
You're right.
To discuss various issues.
Concerning SMEs especially.
Especially SMEs, because that's something that I'm quite passionate about.
Definitely. Compliance, what level of compliance today do I need as an SME to successfully do business?
Okay, first of all, we need to start by defining compliance. Compliance refers to the art of being able to follow the laws, the regulations, the policies and guidelines that government has put in place. And not just government, but there are many other actors that may put in place guidelines. So if you want to ensure that you benefit from the rewards of the interaction with that entity, you must ensure that you comply with those guidelines. Now, I would split compliance into three for a small business. First is the stage of registration. Okay. So you must, for instance, register your business with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. You must register your business with different entities if you're starting out. It must be a formal registered business.
Municipality
Very
license.
many businesses do not register. Someone wakes up and starts a business. Setumba and company and brothers and starts to move. It's much later than he discovers that, no, although you call yourself that, the entity called Setumba and Brothers is owned by someone else. So you must register. So it's very, very important. The other issue is on the aspect of licensing. You must obtain the necessary licenses. First, the simplest is the trade license with a municipality or the city or whatever. But you might also have other licenses. There might be export licenses. There might be other licenses that you require within your line of business.
Depending on the business you are doing.
Yes, for instance, if you are in the oil and gas sector, you might need particular licenses to operate. If you're professional, you might need particular licenses. If you're a lawyer, you might need to register with the local society and so on. So there's the licensing phase. Then there's the issue of being able to pay your dues, your taxes, and to remain and to make sure that you actually follow what is required within that business. Yes.
So I see initial registration, licensing regimes, and other regulatory.
Correct.
But how do I navigate the hurdle? Becoming compliant, John, is not easy from the standpoint of an SME. How do I navigate these hurdles, the challenge of compliance? Sometimes the licenses are too many.
That's true. The licenses are too many, but there are some that are more critical than others. True. So in Uganda now, you have to, as I mentioned, to be registered. That means you have to file your returns. You must also be registered with the Uganda Revenue Authority as part of the registration phase. And then you must also file your returns regularly to stay compliant. You must register with National Social Security Fund if you have employees, so that you make those contributions. You must follow certain regulations like the Employment Act, because if you don't follow those regulations, then there might be downside. So yes, it's expensive to comply, but it's even more expensive to remain compliant. And I think part of the challenge that we have in Uganda is that a business has to comply with so many things, have to report to so many agencies. You know, if we can simplify it and make it easier, so that I just have one interface with government, then, because but now here you have set to register with NIRA sometimes, you have to register with the Passport Authority, then you have to register with so and so. So there's limited sharing of data. So I think for me, that's something that as a country we need to work on. But for now, it's a huge burden to remain compliant. Initial registration is easy now.
Yeah, most companies actually register, but then what?
So that's why you find many briefcase companies that are not filing returns, because it's expensive. So we need to bring down that cost of remaining compliant, and we also need to make it less sophisticated. You know, we are now going online and so on, but as we do that, sometimes we leave people out. particularly those that are not IT savvy. So we need to make it easier for businesses to
So John, in other words, there is nothing else to do. If I'm an SME, I've got to do it all. And even this one, if I can't afford it now, I don't know. I'm cooked.
Well, we need to also highlight the benefits of compliance, because the challenge you have is that people say you either have to comply or you have to comply.
Not, yes.
So we must also indicate that there are benefits to comply. One is business.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to get certain contracts from government or whatever, you have to be registered. You have to be registered with your RSP, you must have a TIN number, they will ask for tax clearance, they will ask for NSF clearance. So it means if you didn't register in the first place, you not remaining compliant, you will not tap into these opportunities. By the way, that does not mean you don't pay tax.
You pay tax.
You pay tax because there's indirect tax. So you're paying tax, but you're not reaping the benefits. So you are the ultimate loser. See? So people must appreciate that there are business opportunities to being compliant. Then the issue of the brand. People don't want to associate with people who are not compliant. Now we have the issue of IFRIS.
Yes, I was going to ask about...
Now we have businesses, if you're VAT registered, or if you have a turnover of 150 million and more in a year, or you report quarterly turnover, I think, of 37 million consecutively, you must be registered for VAT. Now, government has now brought a system of IFRIS to assist it track VAT payments and so on. And of course, there have been some rumblings. Yes, the system has issues, but I cannot encourage any business to say, "Oh, I will not comply." No, I don't think that would be very wise. So the brand, businesses want to associate. All entities want to associate with businesses that are compliant. People will stay away from businesses that are not. The other issue is that if you're not compliant, there could be legal ramifications and costs. For instance, if you don't follow the Employment Act and they take you to the industrial court, you know, you just wake up and dismiss your employees. You discriminate against breastfeeding mothers. You don't give, you know, so all kinds of stipulations in the employment. If you don't follow them and you're taken to the industrial court, you may pay handsomely. So it means that it also makes business sense to be compliant.
Okay, especially with government, I've seen.
Yes.
Okay, I'm listening to you. I have an idea. I've set up, I've registered with URSB. Everybody does that.
Yes. And it's easy now.
Yes.
And you must choose how you, for instance, if you're registering a business, you must also choose how to register.
Okay.
Yeah, because you may want to register a limited liability company.
Oh, yes.
But when you should actually be a sole proprietorship to begin with, it's easier. The compliance costs are lower. Because how you register determines how you're required to comply.
Hey.
Yes, of course. If you're a sole proprietorship, it's a bit easier for you. But if you're a company limited by guarantee, then the requirements go high, the costs go high.
And it may not be necessary for what you are doing.
Of course.
But wow,
you're a micro business, so why are you registering a limited liability company? You're not doing business with government and so on. So the point is you also need advice from professionals.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because you're saying things and people outside there saying, hey,
yes,
where do I start? Okay, I have an idea. I have a business. I've registered a trademark or the name.
You can get a business name to begin with.
I've registered a business name. Yes. Where do I know all these things? Where do I start? So
these days, the information is freely available. For instance, on the URSB, Uganda Registration Services Bureau site, they can explain the different forms. Are the best ways to seek advice from professionals. I want to do ABCD business. What is the best legal form that I should use?
Which profession are we talking, for example?
We are talking about lawyers and accountants primarily, because accountants and tax advisors, they are helping you to minimize your tax obligations. Lawyers are helping you from the legal standpoint, trying to look at what any potential liability that might arise in the course of your operations.
Can I come to FSME? You are our rep, you are our whatever.
So the federation has collaborations with these experts, and these experts sometimes offer advice for free through our collaboration with them. Sometimes you have to pay something small below the market rate. So don't struggle on your own. You can come. I mean, even us, we've also accumulated expertise.
Knowledge, yes.
So we can say, if you're doing this, we think the best path to take is A, and we wouldn't charge you by the at the federation. Because we're a non-profit. We just want more businesses to be set up. And to go.
Finally, in about a minute and a half, this month, 27th?
27th of June is the World SME Day.
What's the plan from you guys?
On the World SME Day, we have the MSME Symposium that we are organizing the Nation Media Group. It will be at Africana. We expect over 500 MSMEs. But we've made invitations, don't just come. So otherwise you would overwhelm us. There are very many SMEs. True. So if you wish to come, you can contact the Federation and we can see how we can accommodate you. But don't just show up on that day. Alternatively, you can go, there's an online link where you can register for the symposium. But it's going to be a great event because we want to ensure that we discuss and interrogate the contribution that SMEs are making to our economy. And it's a huge one. They are creating employment, they are creating jobs, they are contributing to social stability. So we must celebrate them, and that's why the UN General Assembly agreed to make the 27th of June the World SME Day. Okay, wish you well, all you guys in the SME space. Thank you very much, John, for this on the element of compliance. I realize that sometimes in sharing information, it is sometimes the basic information that makes most sense. That's true. Like basic things like compliance. Viewers, we hope we added value to you. If you want to make business, earn money, do business with government and other serious entities, you want to step up, compliance is a must. It's a little bit painful for now, but if you do it, you fall into a different category of those who are the ones who take the serious contracts. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.